A good way to stay organised, I found, is using my smartphone. I think most people would be doing that, but there's a few apps in particular which I love on the smartphone. Firstly, for simplicity, I just use the simple Notes app on iPhone. It allows me to launch it quickly, tap on a little microphone, and while I'm walking from the station to work, any ideas which I'm having, I can just dictate these and it's as if someone is typing it there for me. Once I'm done with that, I will put that into another app called Evernote, which is a little bit more flexible and sophisticated for managing these documents. I think Evernote as well, you can put your music in there and your chord charts, and also share this with other people. So check out those two. I love Spotify as well. Spotify is a great way of sharing your set lists and your playlists with the rest of the team, and you don't need to worry about copyright because that's all built in with Spotify. So there's just a few ways which I like to stay organised.
One of my favorite tools out there is something called Planning Center. You might have heard of it, you might not have heard of it, but basically it's a resource for helping the church keep their teams organized, hosting all of your chord charts, your MP3s, all of that kind of stuff. But there's lots of tools out there in this day and age. It's, you know, the technology age, and so there's plenty of tools out there to help keep organized. For me, being an organized person, I really like to have my stuff done in advance. I know people who work the other way. They wait even until a night or two before their worship service or whatever event they're going to be leading worship for. They like to wait and see what the Lord would say, put a song list together. But for me, I start planning way in advance, especially when I have, you know, a deadline, whether it be leading worship for Sunday, every Sunday, or a once-a-month event that happens. I like to really spend a lot of time getting prepared, getting my mind on that service. I ask myself, you know, God, what are you wanting to do, or what are you wanting to say in this service? I really try to treat every single service as a very unique time where God wants to come and do or say different things, or where I want to come and bring something to the Lord. So I like to try to be organized. I like to try to get ahead of the curve, which for me is often getting my song list ahead of time. And oftentimes the way that helps me is I seek the Lord for maybe a theme, whether that be love. I try to pick songs that will try to express or convey this message of love, or I try to pick songs that are in similar keys so that transitions are really easy between songs. And I find that not only helps me, but helps musicians, helps singers, so that it's not such a stretch moving between different songs. It doesn't break the flow. And that kind of helps me get in that mood of being organized and keeping everything together and coherent for that service or that event.
Zach Lowry here again. Another great question that I want to answer, and I think should be answered, revolves around the idea of organization. How do you stay organized? How do you keep up with organization? And these are believe it or not, these are things that even I still struggle with constantly. Being organized, staying up to speed, up to date. I mean, new music is coming out all the time. I'm wanting to constantly be rotating the right musicians in. Some people can't make it, some people can. What songs do we sing? What songs are we not singing enough of? What are some of the oldies, but the good ones that I need to put back in the rotation? And yet still be listening to new music, fresh music. How can I introduce this in? When's a good time to introduce? All of these things can just really throw you off. Right, what I'll show you, what I use for organization, good old-fashioned, no, not Star Wars. I use good old-fashioned notebook, planner. I write things down. As you can see, I have my schedule in there. I know that there's technology that can help me do all this, but I like to write. I like to put things down in lists. I like to see when the next thing is, the next day is. I like to put down, okay, today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna schedule the songs for 2 weeks from now, or for next Sunday. Maybe not this Sunday, but the next Sunday. one of the ways I stay organized is I write things down. I get a planner and I just commit to doing it. And that's really the basic element you're going to have to do. When it comes to organization, plan meetings, get people involved that are in the worship department or that are friends of yours, that are highly organized and love to serve the church. Get them involved to do things that can carry a little bit of weight. I like to plan. I like to send out the schedule of who's going to play, when, what. I like to do that plenty of time in advance so that there's no pressure on the individual, but also if I need to change something, I can do it. I have plenty of time to rotate a drummer, rotate a guitar player, rotate singers, rotate a bass player, and a keyboardist and all this. As far as songs go, like I said, I like to be at the most a week and a half, or at the least a week and a half, 2 weeks out. I like to have these songs ready to go. So it takes time. So you need to schedule time during the week to set aside towards making a set list or making a song list for a particular Sunday. And you can meet with your pastor to find out if he knows what his sermon's going to be. You can plan around that. But for me to stay organized, I gotta have my trusty old my planner, my day calendar, my planner here. I've gotta have it. I gotta have this. So I take this with me everywhere, and I write down those things that I need. Auditions, I write them down. I'm gonna audition this person on this day, so I write it down. Set the set list for 2 Sundays from now. On this day, write it down. I'm gonna lead worship in the French service on this time. So I go 3 weeks back, here's my songs for the French, set my French song set list, and I do it accordingly. That's how I stay organized with my stuff.
We bring our gifts, forever we will serve.